Hi guys, it's that time again. Which is better? And it'll be between Imperial Congregation by Blood Red Throne and Existence is Futile by Cradle of Filth. Let's get into this. So looking at Imperial Congregation by Blood Red Throne, this is brutal death metal in the vein of Sature and Dying Fetus. The brutality is all here. The crushing vocals go well with the music. The riffs do stand out on the album. Everything just seems to go together. The album just crushes. Music stands out too as well. The song Fit to Kill is a strong release, undoubtedly. But I'd have to say that this caught me into the circle of brutal death metal bands, making it one of their superior releases to date. Recording quality is top notch and right on target. I still think they're similar to one of Sature, but not as brutal as them. It's a close call though. There's not much variety in the music, it's just straight up brutal, and the guitars are tuned down quite a bit. These guys know what they're doing in the music department. From start to finish, it's quality metal, check it out. Switching gears, we're going to look at Existence is Futile by Cradle of Filth. Now, they've returned with an offering of traditional Lovecraftian-inspired stories and mythological themes, to instead focus on tackling the gates of reality and existence. The dread and fear behind death and the unknown. To keep the concept somewhat loyal to present literary material, the record is magnified for an apocalyptic nature as Danny Filth takes inspiration from the occultist Aleister Crowley's view on life and darkness. By observing the artwork representing the LP, one can clearly identify demonic figures enslaving and devouring human beings, with a destructive burning background signifying the apocalypse in a more physical manner in comparison to the philosophical thoughts conveyed throughout the record. The album Hammer of the Witches, Cradle of Filth have rekindled their deranged flame with an effective riff-driven approach that elegantly paves way for the grand sections of theatrics via symphonic leads, gothic charm, and manic blackened undertones. This highly praised recent formula of theirs has been proven to contribute to a sophisticated design of songwriting and constantly manages to balance between impressive technical abilities, addictive melodical arrangements, and a sinister dark aura which subtly lures both fans of gothic and black metal. The album can hypothetically be divided into three main parts, each one inserted by an distinctive interlude seeking to defrost or even ripen the cold blizzard that was emerging from the bleakness and horror of each track. The first interlude, The Fate of the Worlds on Our Shoulders, introduces the record in a redefined cradle fashion, building on epic strings, orchestrations, and the musical pieces signals the forthcoming of the apocalypse. The second interlude, Here Comes the Candle, indicates a new time period as the apocalyptic era has begun. This self-proclaimed infernal lullaby contains a slightly morose feel as it advances with soothing yet frightening siren chants. Last but certainly not least, the song Ashen Mortality is undoubtedly one of the probably the most wicked song on the album. It starts off with an eerie, slowly playing before an orchestral elements and ascending chants escalating to the front. The end has been initiated and the demise of humanity is imminent as we will all sooner or later return to dust and ashes from whence they came. The interludes ideally set the tone for the album's conceptual progression, and their presence is essential for the complete experience. The intensity of the music begins with the opener existential terror, where we dive into the revelation of destruction by catchy thrash-laden riffs next to vampiric banshee vocals warning us of what's to come. The energy of this song is insane. The album shines with a powerhouse of impeccable riffage that simultaneously makes you headbangers shivers down your spine. The melodies are always patent in a sweet and filthy sour signature sound, reflects here on the compositional process influenced by a new wave of British heavy metal background. You can definitely hear the Iron Maiden influence as well as the blackened rendered stylized soloing. The classic sound is fulfilled with aristocratic orchestration, idiosyncratic idiosyncratic symphonies, ominous narration, and a gothic variety of female singing and Danny screaming, shrieking, and growling over a palette of rich vocabulary infused. New recruit Annabelle Iratney replacing the lovely and dearly missed Lindsay Schoolcraft tremendously convinces the listener that she deserves to belong with a multitude of talents, taking the responsibility of Lyra. Orchestration, keyboards, and female vocals. In fact, she's a member of Danny's second project, Devilment, I think. A much better instrument output than the one heard on the previous release, Cryptorania. Though Cradle of Filth don't expand into new territories, their trademark features are unmatchable, as Mr. Filth is the trailblazing mastermind of a unique niche that can evidently be imitated yet never replicated. With this album, they attempt to resuscitate their golden 90s to early 2000s days in a clever and modern manner. There's heartwarming evil homages to the early beginnings of the band, like The Principal Evil Made Flesh, Cruelty and the Beast, and Midian, an album that I would label all killing and filler, including the 2 bonus tracks. You got yourself over an album of magnetic intensity with flawless guitar work taking the starring role, and Rich Shaw and Asher can take a bow. These 2 guitarists merit all the spotlight. Personal cherished tracks of mine would be literally sugar-coated menacing of beauty of the second single, Necromantic Fantasies, that's seized with amphetamine nostalgia. I mentioned Red Storm of the opening track. The twist and times raging from melancholic black metal atmospheres to classic heavy metal spirit of harmonies as the nurture rose. Centered by an emotional Danny Filth performance, the mindfully retrospective, slowly paced ballad-like disclosure between a man and his soul. The expressive and breathtaking lyrical conclusion in the cinematic closing track, Us Stark Invincible. The warfare draped black smoke curling from the lips of war, and the ecological minds suffer our dominion. The latter 2, in addition to Dying of the Embers, kind of makes you reminiscent of the group's 2008 album, Godspeed on the Devil's Wonder. For proves that despite the mainstream success and beautified aesthetics that the Suffolk-based group has accomplished, I can easily guarantee you that they may find a thing or two that they can admire or at least appreciate from this album. Excluding the fact that Cradle of Filth are an essential part of the symphonic black metal scene, serving as a quintessential gateway band for black metal. They've also convinced fans and critics alike that their musical craft goes beyond flashy gimmicks and edgy takeaways. For 30 years, they've built a legacy, keeping a consistency in sound quality and quantity, and emblazoned with a unique dynasty that have become an influence and inspiration to the new generation of gothic, symphonic and black metal bands. While some people hate their over-the-top image and frontman's ear-screeching screams, those same people can easily admit that Cradle of Filth masterfully showcase their worth with their skillful musicianship and diverse virtuosity. The album supremely defines the soundtrack of a melodramatic apocalypse that can very well become a reality considering the current times that we madly live in. There you have it, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought was the better album. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.